Of the 1,900 students who attend Eckerd College, each one of us has our own story that makes us who we are. My freshman year, I met Michael Cerati, a self-proclaimed nerd who is more than just his obsession with comic books. Michael has Lyme's disease, and despite his chronic pain, he has chosen to live his life to the fullest, inspiring everyone around him, including myself.
How did I get Lyme disease? I was bitten by a tick or a series of ticks in the woods of a campground called SBRF in St. Louis, Missouri. And when I was bitten by these ticks, I received a spot on my leg that had a giant red circle in the middle, followed by a ring around it, which is a trademark rash that you may have Lyme disease from the bite of a tick. And I was bitten by a deer tick, which are the most known carriers of Lyme. It's not just like growing pains, as my mom called it, or other stuff, or me just being a wimp. It was because something else was wrong. By the time I actually was diagnosed with Lyme disease, I went to 42 doctors overall. And that is a lot of money and a lot of waiting. It took until my entire body was covered with symptoms. I couldn't move. My bones and my muscles ached like crazy. It felt like someone was pouring acid into my veins. Lyme disease feels like a whole lot of things to a whole lot of different people, because essentially the symptoms can differ from person to person. Its symptoms can be just about any other disease's symptoms, which is why it's so hard for people to diagnose. So my symptoms specifically are my bone structure and my muscle structure pretty much feels like there's acid being poured into my muscles. My bones feel like they're almost like broken.
At first, all this pain negatively affected not only Michael, but also those around him.
But essentially it almost destroyed my family. Because my grades were going down the drain. This was high school, and I couldn't do anything because I was sick, but I didn't look sick. My grades were failing, and I was failing pretty much, and it caused a rift in my family. Eventually, I had to overcome that thanks to my sister, who was able to, she came back from her time in college and helped me get over this.
With the help of his sister and a different mindset, Michael began to change the way he lived.
I did that pretty much, again, because of my sister. She told me to essentially just get over myself. Like, this is something that you're going to live with for the rest of your life. It's chronic. Nothing you can do. It's essentially your best bet is to try to live your life the best you can and to not have any regrets, which is what I've been doing for the past, I don't know, 4 years now, 5 years now. I try to take this, what happened to me, as almost kind of like a sign. I just see this as, instead of it being a disease that I'm constantly stricken with and is a negative, I look at it as a positive, as in, if I can beat Lyme disease, if I can live my life the happiest I can every day, then there's nothing else I can't do.
I did not know that he had Lyme's disease when I first met him. It was probably about a year into knowing him that I found out about it. Living with him today, I really don't notice it. Occasionally he'll mention it here and there, but he's just a very positive person, and you really just don't ever see it. You know, you kind of know it's there, but he never brings it up that much, and it never affects him for what I can see.
When I first met Michael, I had no idea that he had Lyme's disease. I don't think I found out until like hearsay a couple years later. People were like, oh yeah, he has Lyme's disease. Now I notice because they'll have like t-shirts that have like Lyme's disease.
My hat is a perfect example of how I take my Lyme disease in strides, because I design pretty much all of my t-shirts and hats with a tick symbol in mind, because I used to always be like afraid of a tick or pissed at them, but nowadays, because the way I look at my Lyme disease as more of a like a blessing in disguise, I put this symbol on clothing items as a symbol of like hope for myself. I just wear it around as like a symbol of hope and pride, because I can handle Lyme disease. I can handle anything now.
I would describe Michael as a very sweet man. I remember one time I saw him and we were like passing each other. He was like, Franny, how are you? And I was like, God, I feel really sick. And thinking back, I think I was just hungover. But his immediate response was, oh my gosh, like, do I need to make you some soup? And I was like, oh, no, that's okay. I just totally didn't see that one coming. And it was just like a really sweet Michael moment.
If I were to describe Michael, I would say positive, very goofy. Dad jokes to the extreme. He loves dad jokes. Loves superheroes, especially Spider-Man. And just very friendly. Like, if you ask him something, he's always going to give you an answer. He's very considerate, very positive.
Michael keeps up his positivity by pursuing the things he loves to do most, like cooking.
Cooking, as you guys have probably seen, I love doing that, and it's I don't know, instinct for me to cook. Whenever I'm like feeling down, it's just I go in the kitchen and I start making something, even if it's like 3 o'clock p.m. and I'm not hungry. No one's hungry.
Michael's love for cooking. He's a really good cook. It always smells like garlic, which is great if you're me because I love garlic. And he's just very like focused when he's cooking. Like, he's in the zone. You know, he gets like his game face on. And I know he developed the love for it in Italy, so all of his food's really delicious.
Michael and his cooking. Michael's a great cook. I think I noticed, especially in the beginning of the year, when I'd come back in like the whole room would be filled with these like great Italian cooking smells, and it'd just be like Michael over there like making like 40 cloves or something. And I think it helped make our room feel a little more homey, because you'd come home and it would smell like someone had been making dinner all day, which was really nice.
Other hobbies. I like long walks on the beach.
All right. Let's be serious.
Yeah, other hobbies. I honestly really enjoy drawing when things are kind of like dull and I'm not hanging out with my friends. I honestly just come back to the room. I watch some YouTube channels like Achievement Hunter, or I just doodle in my sketchbook or in my journal.
Aside from cooking, Michael also has an interest in superheroes, an interest that he now connects with on a personal level.
That started out way when I was a kid, because I always found like them to be so interesting and fascinating, because they were also like the pinnacle of what I think human beings should be, to always help other people, to be the best you can be, and yada yada yada. My favorite of the superheroes is Spider-Man, because I always related with him, because I was the kid who was always picked on, the smart nerdy kid with glasses and blah blah blah, no friends. Reading the comic books of Spider-Man, it made me almost like be able to relate with somebody for the first time. So it was ironic, because every time there was like a wish upon a star, like 1111 make a wish, I wished every single time that I'd be bitten by a spider, just like Peter Parker was, ever since I was like 6 and knew what a spider was. And I guess eventually, around the age of 11, God or whoever it is was just like, alright bitch, here's your freaking reward, you wished it, here you got it, because a tick is technically an arachnid. It has two body things, a head and a torso, and then 8 legs. An arachnid. So I did get bitten by a spider, kind of, and I did get unique special abilities from it.
What I think you need to know about Michael is that I think he's kind of shy at first, but once you kind of get into it, he's really funny.
I think Michael's an extremely inspirational person. Ever since I found out about the Lyme's disease, and just living with him now especially, I see how he doesn't really let it get to him. He's just always so positive and excited about life and excited to be living life. And that's just something that I really appreciate, because I don't know if I would be that strong if I was in the same situation.
Michael's choice to see past Lyme's disease and not let it affect him is inspiring. With 1 year left at Eckerd, Michael will continue making the most of each day.